Good afternoon. This is Sunil Sundaraj from njvarsity.rivals.com. I'm honored to welcome in Somerville High School senior running back Cookie Desiderio. Cookie, thank you so much for taking time out to speak with me. And absolutely, spectacular career you had on the football field at Somerville High School. I guess if we can just talk about your senior season, Cookie. I said. I think you had 26 touchdowns, rushed, it said, for 1,700 yards. I mean, just a phenomenal senior year. You guys went undefeated, the football team there at Somerville. Can you just, now you've had some time, a couple weeks off, here to reflect on the season. Can you just, sum it all up?
Yeah, it was definitely a crazy season, not having a full training camp like we're used to having in the summertime with COVID, so we only had September to prepare for the season and only one scrimmage. So during the off season on road, we had to prepare the weight room and running and everything we could to get ready for the season with a short amount of time. And for the games, we only had 7 games, and we weren't sure if we were going to play each game.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to play each game like it was our last game because we weren't sure what was going to happen with COVID.
Yeah, I mean, it said, can you just, there were a couple, great games. I mean, every game, you put up tremendous stats, Cookie, but I wanted to ask you about a couple games, especially against Rahway, over 300 yards rushing, close to 300 yards against Warren Hills, and of course, the final game there against Woodbridge, were rushing for close to 280 yards. Can you just talk about, I guess, starting with the Rahway game, how you were able to do that? I mean, just incredible numbers.
Yeah, for the Rahway game, we just came in prepared the whole week. We practiced good, and the O-line did a tremendous job making their blocks and doing everything they can to make sure I had the right holes and that I could score and get the yardage to win the game.
Mm-hmm. And then again, following it up against Warren Hills, said such an impressive performance, Cookie.
Yeah, the Warren Hills game, it was a little rainy, but and cold, and it was our first away game, second away game, but we came up prepared and we took on a fight. Even though they weren't as good as an opponent, we had to play like it was the better opponent, and we came out and won, and the whole team did a good job and did their assignments.
Yeah. I wanted to just go back, Cookie, you're talking about preparing for this season. I wanted to ask you how emotional it was knowing your senior year, final season, there at Somerville High School, with coaches, teammates, just, what, it was, it said dealing with this whole, pandemic and, not knowing if you were going to have a season as it is. And just to, be blessed just to be able to take that football field, it said for a final go around this season. I mean, how good of a feeling was that for you personally?
Yeah, it was definitely an emotional one, having the full season we're supposed to have, and during each game it was really fun and annoying because it was my last year playing high school, so it was definitely a good one in preparing for each game, doing everything I can with doing yoga and stretching and hydrating, everything I can to get my body ready for each game so I got to go out there and perform and show everyone that I was capable of doing so and being this state's best running back.
Yeah, I mean, again, unusual circumstances, I would say, would you agree, Cookie, compared to previous years, your previous 3 years, getting ready and getting prepared for a season. Would you agree?
Yeah, I feel like it was definitely different, and I had a lot of more time for myself to get ready for the season with just being online for school, so I had more time to, lift at my house and go run hills and yoga and stretch and everything I can.
Yeah.
Keep my body 100%.
I wanted to ask you about that final game. It said against Woodbridge. Can you just walk me through, the week leading up to the game, in the locker room before you took the field there, and again, it said just again, a stellar performance against Woodbridge, and I was looking at the video. I think your last play of your career there at Somerville High School, scoring a touchdown. Can you just again just walk me through that entire said process, Cookie?
Yeah, during the week we knew it was going to be a dogfight game because Woodbridge is a good team. They had a good running back, Ali. So during the week we just had to practice as hard as we can each day and do our assignments well and study up and watch film and everything we could to come out on top. And during the game, it was a dogfight. We went back and forth, and going into halftime, it was 13-6. So we knew we had to come out of half and come explosive and real fast and physical to beat Woodbridge and be able to win.
Yeah. I mean, can you tell me as the final seconds were ticking off there, and you guys, said one, just what was going through your, just emotions, said knowing, this is it, my high school career is, it's finished, but just knowing how much you were able to accomplish, Cookie.
Yeah, it was definitely emotional because the last 4 years, they've been good going from Burners for my first 2 years, and then last year coming in to Somerville, having mono in the summer, not really being prepared, and then to this year stepping it up a lot and showing everyone that I was capable of having a great year and being the best running back in the state. So it was definitely emotional, but also like realizing that I did a good job this year and did everything I could in the 7 games that we had.
Yeah.
And to beat a game to beat a team like Woodbridge, it was like a championship game for the last game. So it was amazing to go out on top.
I mean, yeah. No, I sorry to interrupt you. I just want to say that every year being, the team, had a winning record, but to go out on an undefeated note, I don't think that, I mean, that's just like icing on the cake, Cookie.
Yeah, it definitely was not being able to have a championship year and to
Yeah.
get like rings and all that, but to go undefeated, that's another thing that's great because last year we lost to Summit and Woodrow Wilson at the end. So this year going
Hmm.
undefeated, definitely top last year.
Wanted to ask you, 6'1", 215, just your breakout speed, just how you're able to hit the holes. I mean, you talked about the offensive line, and even like, looking at the quarterbacks you had every year, I think plays such an integral part as well because everyone has got to be in sync, especially, on a running play. Can you just speak to that part of the game, just, how you're able, to do that? I mean, on a consistent basis, Cookie.
Yeah, during the off season, I worked real hard with my speed trainers, Joe Porter and Will Beckford. They're both former college players and NFL players, so they helped me a lot with my speed and explosiveness during the off season. And running hills with my other trainer Edwin Way and my teammate AJ. We ran hills like once a week, and the hill was real big, so that helped me a
Hmm.
lot as well.
Hmm. I wanted to ask you just what it meant, just wearing that Somerville, said Pioneers uniform, what that represented to you, and just, over, these past 4 years, Cookie.
Yeah, it was definitely like you had to show that you're the best because being a summer pioneer, you gotta lead by example and prove to the state that we're a good team, even though we're only Group 3, that we could play with anyone in the state.
Just can you talk about your progression? You mentioned it a little bit, from freshman going into sophomore year, then, these, last, 2 years, especially what you were able to do, or a couple of years. Can you just talk about that, from freshman to sophomore year?
Yeah, my freshman to sophomore year, my freshman year, I started varsity at Bernard's, and it was just like a learning experience of getting ready for my whole varsity career because like I was the youngest one on the field and playing against some good teams. So it was just a good learning experience to get ready for what's to come. And then my sophomore year, coming and exploding out and having just under 500 rushing yards and
Yeah.
about like 20 touchdowns. So I feel like I stepped it up a lot from freshman to sophomore year and learned a lot.
Yeah. Every year offensive line changes. You have like, seniors graduating, and then you have underclassmen stepping up. Can you just talk about, offensive line, quarterback, just, even wide receivers play such a pivotal role in blocking as well when, you're running the ball. Can you just, talk about your teammates and just what, they meant to you, over these past 4 years, Cookie? If anybody you want to mention in particular.
Yes, throughout my years, the offensive line, all 4 years, they've been tremendous. From Bernards to Somerville, they've all been good, especially this year with AJ, Sal, Garrett, Manhart, and Noah. They did a tremendous job this year. They worked hard in the offseason while we were shut down for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had a new quarterback, Mike Miller. He did a good job learning the plays and helped lead this team to go undefeated.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you also about your coaching staff, head coach Dallas Whitaker, the rest of the coaching staff. If you can just talk about your, just having that relationship with them, just, what they meant to you and your, again, every year being able to, put up these numbers. Can you just talk about the job they did as well, Cookie?
Yeah, the coaching staff, they did an amazing job. Made sure the O-line were doing their assignments and helping the young guys that were stepping up to start this year. They did a real good job with that. And then Coach Cat and Brasky and Coach Davis and Pice and everyone, they did a good job helping up the young guys and making sure they did good.
That's good. Wanted to ask you just also support from, the school, students, athletic director, the administration, over these 4 years as well, Cookie.
Yeah, the schools I've been at, they've been good. At Bernard's, the athletic director, Mike Hoppy, he was a real good athletic director, and he's still a fan of mine, and he's like family to me, and he did a good job. And then here at Somerville, what's it called? All the athletic directors and everyone, trainers and everyone, it wouldn't be possible without them.
Yeah. Hey, talk about the support from the community, just what it's like, to, especially with the home games, how electric that environment is. And just, can you, describe that, those feelings, just over these last, couple of years there at Somerville High School.
Yeah, Somerville, the fans get crazy. Everyone's into the game, and everyone comes on Friday nights, and even on Saturdays when we have Saturday games, they like to come and support us. And we all thank them enough for it, because without them, it wouldn't be possible. And they show pride for us.
That's great. Just getting back to the football side before I, move over to academics. Knowing that, your first team All-State offense, All-State, state-leading rusher, scorer, it said over 5,000, career rushing yards, over 70 touchdowns, career touchdowns. Just, when you think about, like, how you, put these stats up and, like, were able to accomplish that, all the accolades, do you get goosebumps, or does it, you have to say, sometimes sit down and say, wow, I was able to do all of this. I just had to ask you about that, Cookie.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy, the stats I put up, 5,000 rushing yards, that's crazy. Like, not a lot of people were able to say they got that.
Yeah.
So that was crazy, and over 70 touchdowns and all that stuff that I did, it, has to look back at that and say, like, wow, I actually, like, did that, and, like, all the hard work that I put in, like, showed all the stats that I got.
I wanted to ask you how, as far as colleges right now, how that process is working out for you, Cookie.
It's been all right now. It was a little quiet during the season, but it's starting to get a lot more attention after the season, and hopefully I'll be going to a Power 5 school next year.
Hey, are you still going through that, or have you, zeroed in on the school that you're going to attend, Cookie?
I haven't decided yet where I'll be going next year, but I probably will be next year, like in 2021.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I said academics. You have, again, thrived in that role. I think you saw what, 3.2 GPA. Just can you, I mean, balancing out being, a student athlete, can you just, speak to how important that is to you, Cookie, especially in the classroom?
Yeah, the academic side is definitely important because, if you don't have the grades and you can't go on to the next level.
Okay. Can you hear me, Cookie?
Yeah.
Okay, it just got, the sound went out for a bit. Okay. I wanted to ask you, did you play any other sports, like, growing up, said, and then into elementary, middle school before you reached high school? I was just wondering about that, Cookie.
Yeah, I did track when I was in fourth grade all the way up to freshman year. I did
Okay.
hurdles and the sprints.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, I said with other sports helping you, I said with football as well. But when did you discover that really football was something that you wanted to pursue and was a passion of yours, Cookie?
I feel like right when I started it, when I was in first grade, I feel like that was the right sport for me, and I feel like I could make it a career when I was older. So I had to start to pursue that and trained every day from second grade all the way up to now. I train
Hmm.
every week for it.
That's great. I'm wondering, any when as far as being a running back, any guys, players, on the college or pro level that you sort of tried to emulate your game after, or sort of like, picked up some tips on, like, said, especially watching during the season, Cookie?
Yeah, look up to Derrick Henry. I feel like he's a real physical back, and he has the speed for the size that he has. He's like 6'3", 250. So being like bigger for as a running back. So I try to look up to him because he's real fast and physical.
Yeah. I just have a couple more. I can't thank you enough, Cookie, for the time. I wanted to talk about family. Can you talk about the support that you received from them? And I wanted to find out, your first name, Cookie. I said how your parents came up with that. Just wanted to find out.
Yeah, when I was younger, I used to eat a lot of cookies, so that's how I got the name. And my family, they give me a lot of support. My whole family comes to the game. All my
Yeah,
uncles and cousins, everyone, they all show up to the game and show love to me. And they're big support. My dad, my brother, and everyone. My grandpa too. He's a big supporter. He shows up hours before the game.
that's great. Do you have any siblings, Cookie?
Yeah, I have a brother and a sister.
Okay, that's great. Was sports always big in the family growing up, Cookie?
Yeah, sports were, my grandpa and his brothers, they were great athletes at Blair. And then my dad, he was a running back at Bernard back in his day.
Okay.
Then my brother racing motocross. So, sports were big in my family. And my cousin being an All-American gymnast at LSU.
Oh, that's terrific. Very good. Very good. Um, well, final question I wanted to ask you, Cookie. You said you played for a long time, growing up, and there are a lot of kids you see at these games. And I'm also wondering is that, being a senior, because at one point you were a freshman and underclassman, now here as a senior, being able to pass down, like, a lot of knowledge and tips to younger athletes. Just what your message would be, especially, with, trying to succeed, in the game of football
Yeah,
and the classroom as well. Yeah.
I love the younger players. I try to give them tips and try helping them as much as they can to do their best and to tell them that they can never give up on what they believe in and tell them that don't listen to anyone if it's positive or negative. Like just believe in what you believe in and try to achieve the goals that you set for yourself.
Mhm. That's great. Is there anything else, Cookie? The floor is yours. I can't thank you enough again for the time. If there's anything you want to add, that I've missed out on, I hope I was able to, discuss a number of topics. If there's something you want to add, I said, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I think you got all of them.
All right, sounds good. Hey, Cookie, you know what? And I want again, with all your accomplishments, that this is what I want to ask you is that, especially with football in Jersey, we talk about other states, but, New Jersey has come a long ways. I really firmly believe that. Would you agree about that? Knowing how many, talented football players they are, from North, Central, and South Jersey.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of talent in New Jersey. New Jersey gets overlooked by so many other states. So
Yeah.
New Jersey has a lot of good players that get overlooked.
All right, sounds good. Hey, Cookie, again, thank you so much for the time. Congratulations again on an outstanding career there at Somerville High School. Wishing you continued success and looking forward to, seeing what you do, at the college level.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me on.